Yeah.
No, of course we should be
Yeah, I
talking
mean,
about
don't
apples.
bake with a Red Delicious, but if you eat them raw, they're crisp for me.
No, not always.
Mm,
I mean, are they the crispest one
mm.
out there? No.
Like, why
There's
would I
literally
risk
one called a Honey Crisp.
mush?
So
Always been a Honeycrisp bitch.
I love a Honey Crisp.
Yeah.
They're
love
so
a
small though,
Honeycrisp.
you can't do anything with it.
So you get a
you
bunch.
actually one you can. It's called cider. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Uh,
fair.
Honeycrisp. Honeycrisp mixed with Gala.
Got
Phenomenal.
Okay.
really good.
Also, I've had a brilliant idea. We're gonna see if I can bring it into being. Well, it was more like a friend's idea, and I just kind of was like, I'm gonna do that for myself. So chai spiced apple cider.
Oh,
Yo.
fuck yeah.
Do
Yes,
the
yes.
No,
thing.
10 out of
there's a
10.
bakery. The bakery near us does that every autumn. The cider chai.
Mm,
It's really good.
That
Yeah,
sounds
yeah,
really
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
yeah, because it's just like 1 degree of separation
Mhm.
from the rest
It's
of it.
true.
Okay.
No, definitely make it. It's so good.
Do it.
Why are you
Save
doing
me some
that
though. You gotta send it in the mail.
That's not happening.
Okay.
In a letter. Specifically mail it
You
in
could-
in a
please
paper
just-
letter.
Somebody please just
one
mail me
stamp.
a sub. Like I'll sacrifice the cider chai for a pub sub. I'm dying. Please.
I do miss pub
Weren't
subs.
you
Fuck.
weren't you coming down? Weren't you coming down to Savannah at some point?
Maybe.
Okay, we'll just get a
I'm
pub
trying to go to
sub when you
California
come.
first, but I haven't seen my parents in like a
That's-
year, so like maybe I should go to Savannah first.
Maybe, yeah.
But like I'm just trying to get someone to mail me a pub sub. It's the principle.
I'm
It's the
definitely not doing it.
principle. Alright.
I truly cannot, in good
Principle
conscience, mail you a sub. It's not happening.
The problem is that you would eat it, Elsie, and that's the concern.
Correct.
Okay, wait. There's a lot to say about that, and I'm not gonna confirm or deny whether I would. But rude of you to think that I would, and that's a problem.
What would you do with said pub sub?
Yeah, I'm sorry, back up. If the plan wasn't to eat the pub sub, which
Do-
again, nah, it comes with its own problems, what was the original intent of
Were
Like,
you
how
going-
long was it in the mail for?
are you paying for the express shipping?
Is
Because
it
I'm definitely not
refrigerated?
doing that.
Yeah.
It's not going to be refrigerated.
If it's
I
like
don't
2
think that-
days, it's fine.
No.
No,
absolutely not.
I've
Absolutely
left out
not.
a pub sub for 2 days and ate it, and that's fine.
Oh, babe.
I'm
The
still
worst thing
kicking.
I can say about that is I have done that, and I am sorry.
I mean, like, one of us is clearly superior then because I didn't happen anything to me. Like, I'm fine.
Clearly.
I don't know. My stomach says, okay.
Do you hear the collective silence from the rest of your
Yeah, and
fellow
it's
castmates? Do you hear that? Do you feel that?
like,
Listen, I can't go with you on that journey. I simply cannot.
I didn't
Respect
ask
it.
The worst
to.
thing I've
Everyone's
ever done
on
is,
their
like,
individual
leaving
one.
food out overnight, but like
Mhm.
it depends on the food.
Pub sub.
48 hours is
48 hours is a little.
Okay.
It's a little like we're
Hey,
gonna
listen.
test God in my stomach
Hey,
today.
listen. I think we need to bring it back. This the pub sub discourse is too much. It's too much.
Listen, I've just been enjoying the vibes here. As always, you gave me an entertaining way to jump into this stream.
Hey, that's what we're here for.
And that is why I appreciate each and every one of you. And so, with that, hi, welcome. We are Entropy Emporium, and this is They Call Us Villains. I'm going to quickly turn the reins over to Kian to do a few announcements. Then we're going to get into introductions, and then we're going to dive right into our first episode with a guest.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for hanging out tonight on Entropy Emporium. As JD said, my name is Kian. I am one of the people behind the scenes here at Entropy. One of the things to know about Entropy Emporium is that right now and always we are raising money for the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund, who are doing really important work and much needed aid in Gaza. I'm going to drop our Tilify link. We encourage you to donate. Everyone who can donate, please do so. Anyone who cannot donate, please continue to spread the word. Do not stop talking about Palestine and calling for a ceasefire. I'll also be dropping the link to our Discord chat. Come hang out with us. It's a lot of feral energy. It's pretty much this, but all the time. So definitely come hang out, say hello, come and vibe. And that's all that I'm going to say for now. I'll do the recap on what's going on the channel at the end. So I'll pass it back to you, JD.
Thank you, Kian. So before we jump in, I am just going to remind you, before we start introductions, there are several content warnings for this game. These include institutional violence, forced institutionalization, medical abuse, psychological abuse, and gaslighting, themes in line with real-world conversion therapy, body horror, gore, and blood. We are going to be leaning a little bit more into the slasher genre today, so I'm just going to put that out there. And finally, there can also be references to isolation, seclusion, and sedation, as well as, for some upcoming episodes, some toxic and emotionally abusive parenting. But with that, I'm going to let my cast go around, introduce themselves, remind us of who they are playing and their character's playbook. And we will start with, I don't know why I paused, because we always start with the same person. Harp, you are up first.
Every time I forget that I'm first and I do a little panic. Hi, I'm Harper. I'm gonna be playing Mara, who is the Nova playbook. She has gravity powers, as we will see pretty soon, probably. That's it.
Why would we see that, Harp? I don't know why. Mara
If I recall
would...
correctly, the last word said during the play session of last night's game is Mara is going to charge up her powers.
That is true. Those were words that you decided to say. And I can't wait to see what happens with that role. Could be real interesting.
She'll stay conscious shortly.
All right, Kian, you are up next.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kian. My pronouns are they, he. You can find me on the interwebs at uptight_Siobhan, uptight-Siobhan, depending on where you're hanging out. And tonight I am playing Valen, who is the Beacon playbook, who is, honest to God, not causing any problems at the start of this, which is really exciting that Valen is the well-behaved one right now. So I'm a little theft, but very minor theft. But other than that, super good. No issues at all. So I'm excited. Valen does not have any powers, so.
Yeah. No,
I don't want to hear it. Keep those facial expressions to yourself, okay? They're very loud.
No, it's true. And Valen has done nothing wrong ever in their life.
Thank you, JD. Q, nobody asked you.
You don't have to. Offer it gratis.
And speaking of Q, you are up next.
Well, hi there. Hey, I'm Q. Pronouns he, him. Tonight I am playing one Connor Creed. He is the transformed playbook. We lost for a second there, but we brought it back. Just the sad, angy boy who is just a little bit smitten and a lot of bit concerned right now. It's fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say Connor was having a pretty nice morning for the first time in a long time.
Mm-hmm. And then that went away a little bit because somebody's big mad, and it's not him this time. Actually,
it's not. No, that is true. And speaking of characters who would never get into any trouble ever, Steph, introduce us to you and Scylla.
So true. Hi, I'm Steph. She, her. Tonight I am playing the Doomed, Scylla Tarn. She's just a little bean, little bendy girl with superior teeth, and she's done nothing wrong ever in her life. She just wants to help her friends.
And we are going to jump down to LC.
Hi, I'm Elsie. Sorry, I was bullying Harp in the chat. I'm optimistic on all social media. I use she, they pronouns, as does Ellie, who I play. I play Ellie Ellison. She is the protege playbook and has telekinesis and power absorption and mimicry, I guess. And I just feel like it's a little rude that everybody else used my line of I've never done anything wrong in my life, which is true. And no, everybody fucking open your mouth, every single one of you.
Because you're
Never
the
done
first
anything wrong.
one. Are you so for real?
I'm so for real.
You've probably done the most wrong out of all of
I've-
us, Elsie.
I'm
First
not.
of all.
First of all, proof. Nobody
Two
has
city
it.
blocks. Two whole
You
city
don't know
blocks.
what happened. You don't
It
know
was
what
caught
happened.
on the news.
Okay,
It
but
was
nobody
caught on
knows
the
what
news,
nobody
BB.
knows what's in there, and nobody knows what happens. And JD won't tell me how many city blocks, what kind of city blocks.
Wow.
Manhattan, Brooklyn, Chicago. I don't know. Very
Now
different.
you're just denying all of the damage that you've done. That's pretty
Wow.
tragic to the people who passed
I'm
away.
just saying we don't
Gaslighting.
know.
Just like your
What-
boyfriend.
Learn from the best. I'm just saying we don't know what happened on those two city blocks. I'm not going to have this argument every single game. Okay. Once we find out what happens, then you guys can give me all the shit you want. Anyways, I have read the rules of masks now, so we're all good there. And I have a plan. That's
Okay.
all anybody needs to know.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Interesting. I'm excited to find out what that means. And Elsie, I'm just going to put it out there. If you do not want us to debate the two city blocks, maybe don't bring up the two
I
city blocks.
Didn't. They did. I said I've never done anything wrong in my life.
Let's maybe start with don't say that.
A patent line.
Look, I'm trying
lied.
not to fight, but I will fly down there
Hey,
and throw
Hey.
hands.
we can tussle.
All right. I'll add you to the list.
Okay, listen, these hands are rated E for everyone. I don't know what you want from me.
Look.
The
Hush.
look
We have a guest. We have a guest.
We do, so hush.
Be polite.
It's always
Okay.
important to mind your manners when mother's around.
I hate this fucking family.
I'm
I'm
sorry,
leaving.
JD, you were saying?
I mean, you started your introduction so beautifully, Rose, that I would just invite you to continue.
Well, then, if I must, I must. Hi, everyone. My name is Rose. You can find me at Rose from the Grave. I will be playing Theodora Lomax, aka Mama Theo, who is just a simple, concerned parent here to observe and make recommendations. Doesn't have any powers, so no playbook. Just an adult character here in Hemlock. That's it.
I don't know why you all look concerned. It's a new.
You're the one
it's
with
an-
powers. You're the ones with all the power here.
That's who, buddy.
I'm sorry. I believe there was a scene going on, if I recall correctly. Theo isn't here yet. I'm later.
It's true. We haven't even jumped into the action. Before we do, I am JD. I am your storyteller for this game, and I will be playing everyone else. And with that, we are going to start somewhere very, very different than where we usually do. In a different place and in a different time. This is the first time in a long time we've really spent even a moment outside of Hemlock. And we don't know what the world outside of Hemlock looks like right now. Well, I suppose Mara does, seeing as she just recently, as in a few days ago, arrived in the unit, but this is years ago, a simpler time. A time where the leaves on the trees are in varying shades of orange and red and yellow, the colors of flame. We move slowly to look around. Maybe it's not so simple because we see a series of tombstones with a skeletal hand reaching out from underneath. We see a wispy shape hanging over the ground. We see a bloody handprint smeared on a window. All Halloween decorations for the season, because this is a nice residential neighborhood full of single-family homes decked out and ready to go for the upcoming holiday. We see carved pumpkins on stairs and stoops lit by flickering candles. We smell logs burning as they're used in fire pits. It's a crisp fall evening, and we are days away from Halloween. Which is when we become aware of other factors. We become aware of ragged breathing. And we realize that we are watching not from the perspective of a camera, but from that of a person. As they look down and see what we might think for a moment is a prop, because it's a bloody knife. But something about the idea of that as a prop feels wrong. It looks wrong. It looks too real. The blade and also the dark substance that's coating it. The person whose eyes we are borrowing for the moment bursts into movement, running at a normal, if fast pace, turning corners, looking for streets that are quieter and emptier, and finally seeming to settle on one where they pause long enough to throw that knife down the entrance to a sewer on the side of the road. And it's strange because this person is being methodical enough to have declined to use other locations for removing the evidence of a crime scene, but this is sloppy. There's no attempt to remove fingerprints from the handle of the knife, no attempts to clean the blade before it's thrown down in there. Almost as if we didn't choose to do this. We turn and we freeze because there is a moment where we see a figure illuminated under a street light just halfway down the road from us. They loom large, but are entirely draped in shadow, and we cannot tell anything about them. Gender, age, clothing, or, well, if they are actually even human. That streetlight above them flickers Once, twice, 3 times, almost at the rhythm of a beating heart. And then it explodes into sparks, and we don't see any more because we are now running away from them. We hear ourselves panting, and we feel our heart pounding in our chest, and that beating becomes louder and louder because we are missing something. We are missing someone, and our heart rate is wrong without them there. It's as though we're missing the piece that synchronizes the pumping of the blood throughout our veins. And we realize that our fear is not for ourselves, but for them, this missing person, the other part of ourselves who we need to find before it's too late. Why would we think that? Too late for what exactly? That doesn't matter. We don't need to worry about that right now, because as we wind our way through the streets, stumbling and making turns seemingly at random, never glancing over our shoulder to see if we're being followed by that figure we saw. No, never that. And then in an area with a low fence that comes into view, we vault over it with ease, and there is no longer pavement under our feet, but the wood chips of a playground. There is the creaking of chains, and we see a figure sitting on the swings, slowly moving back and forth. They're shrouded in shadow, and for a moment there's a reminder of that looming figure that we just escaped from. But we are drawn inexorably towards them, and there is a feeling of relief as we take in the blue spiked hair and studded leather jacket, and we see Gray. And then our perspective shifts, almost with a feeling of vertigo, as the world becomes wavy and up becomes down, and it's almost like we're looking through a mirror, because now we're watching from a different set of eyes. These eyes belonging to the person sitting on that swing, because our perspective is now rocking back and forth until they drop their feet to the ground and we skid to a stop. We feel fear because we see Casey standing there, dark hair messy, clothing disheveled, and most notably, we see that he is covered in blood. It is on his white t-shirt, his ripped up jeans, splattered across his face. And we stumble to our feet and we cross the distance between us and Casey, looking him over, trying to find a wound. We ask, Casey, what the fuck? Are you hurt? And his voice is distant and remote as he says, I'm fine, Gray. And so we ask the question that we don't want to ask, the questions that's looming with dawning horror, as we have to acknowledge that the blood isn't Casey's, which means we need to know the answer to this question, know the answer of whose it is. Casey, what did you do? And for a split second, we see ourselves from Casey's eyes. We see how our expression is filled with fear and horror. We see, but do not have time to fully process what we start to realize as Casey's eyes take in the rest of our body. Because before we can process that, we're back inside of it as Casey evenly says, you mean, what did we do? And we look down to confirm what we just saw, that our shirt is stained red with blood as well, that there are streaks of gore up our arms just like Casey's, on our hands just like Casey's. We need to clean up. We don't realize that we're the ones speaking until we say those words. And our voice no longer holds any of the panic it did moments ago when we thought Casey was hurt. We should wear gloves next time. Casey muses. We don't think about the words next time as he comes closer to us, cupping our face between his bloodied hands, and pulls our head down until we're forehead to forehead. We breathe together, and flashes of the night come back. A knife in our hands. Blood spilled across a familiar kitchen floor. The sound of screams. And the feeling of more power than we've ever felt before. Almost like energy is crackling across our skin, and that sensation comes back as we are pressed against Casey or he is pressed against us. We can't tell anymore. He rests a hand on the back of our neck, and then his lips are on ours, and we taste blood in his mouth, or maybe it was already in ours. Gray. And the way he says our name is full of possession and worship and command and something softer that we dare not name. We fucking did it. We fucking did, we say, and that knot in our chest eases up because we feel alive. We feel strong, like we've taken some of his strength. And it was easy. And he laughs. He laughs and he ruffles our hair, ignoring the way blood sets into the strands. It sure as fuck was, just like you said it would be. Did we say that? It doesn't matter. We're not sure ultimately which one of us says, let's see how far we can take this. But we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we would follow him anywhere. So anyways, back in 2024 on the ward, where lots of normal things are happening, I'm going to take a moment to paint us a picture as we move away from that almost Halloween night to a very chaotic scene unfolding in the middle of the cafeteria. Because you were having a wonderful breakfast. It was, if I recall, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was Egg Day, which is better than Oatmeal Day. We can all agree.
I just got so mad the way you said that.
Box ass.
Listen.
Ooh.
Listen.
It was Egg Day.
It sure was. And I'm so sorry that there was limited seasoning and other items of food to go along with that.
Say that again to my face that you were sorry.
I had to beg for Mrs. Dash. I do beg.
Yeah.
And I gave it to you. I was so generous. If I do not continue this description of what is about to happen / has happened, I know that the entire cast is going to mutiny. So I'm just going to keep going. So it was a lovely, well, it was sort of a lovely breakfast for a number of reasons. Caleb was being introduced to the others on the ward. Valen and Mara were having a lovely conversation that was going incredibly well.
BFFs, making best friends.
And you know, what was going on at Valen and Mara's table probably would have been the biggest news if Bridget and Lucian hadn't gotten into a fight about something, ? So, you all made a number of moves in that moment because you bullied me into an extra 10 minutes of a session and made some incredibly wonderful choices in that period of time. Because in that moment, Connor, you went to defend Lucian, and you were doing that successfully. You were diffusing the situation. You were calming Bridget, who had ignited her fire powers. It's okay, Elsie. Everything's fine. You do not have to hide your face in shame.
Maybe she should also. You're muted, so you said nothing right there. Oh,
I'm just
Okay.
watching the captions pop
the
up.
captions for sure.
So, Connor, you were diffusing things, which meant you had left Caleb, who was just kind of being like passed off from person to person, starting with Valen to Connor, Scylla, and Ellie, then kind of ending up with Scylla, because Ellie as well decided to join in this moment and I feel like it is vital for us to highlight, had good intentions.
Mm.
The problem, Ellie, as you moved across the cafeteria, was that darkness, that hunger, that had other plans, and you started crackling with power halfway across the cafeteria, which set Bridget off the rest of the way. And one of those fireballs in their hand was thrown, igniting a trash can. Scylla, meanwhile, was defending Caleb solo by crouching on top of the table, and ready to address any threats that might come that way. And as Bridget ignited their powers and caused some property damage, Mara caught sight of the orderlies rushing into the room to actively diffuse this situation, and the fact that they were coming in with power suppressing tech. And as you rightly identified, Harp, you did end that last session by saying, I am going to charge up my powers. And I am going to let you all know now, as we start, you will have one round before something will happen. So think carefully about how you would like to use that. We know how Mara will be using that. So, Mara, roll to charge up. Let's see what happens.
To illustrate the stakes for people, I currently have 2 conditions out of a total of 5. If I fail this roll, I do take 3 conditions. If I succeed, I only take 1. If I really succeed, I don't take any. But I only have a +2 to it, right? Because I have 2 conditions. Or is it plus? It shouldn't be +3 as well. It is a total of 7. 5 plus 2.
Okay. That could have gone a lot worse.
It was one off of being really bad there.
Mm-hmm.
That could have gone so much worse, and we are happy for you.
I am going to mark, I think, angry.
Mm-hmm.
Because why are they giving her this thing I asked for? As she stands up from the table, I think Valen said that he, like at the very end of the last session, as Mara stood up, I think he said he took her sketchbook.
Yep.
As Mara gets up and starts walking over to the orderlies, she looks back at Valen, I think. Just sees it. And just nods to herself. And then gravity gets a little bit stronger than it already was. It had been acting up a little bit because she was in a fight with Valen. And I think she does, with 3 conditions, probably start bleeding like a little bit from her face. As she walks up to one of the orderlies and says, "Hi, I need one of those."
The orderly is not even looking at you. He is zeroed in on Bridget.
And if I have time during this turn, Mara is going to say, "Hey!" And use her powers to stop this person.
What would you like to do to this orderly?
I think Mara is not trying to hurt this person. Just stop them where they are.
And how does this manifest with your powers?
I think it would be just like a really overpowering gravity, bringing them down to like one knee.
And so you hear Mara yell, "Hey," to get the orderly's attention. And then you see that orderly stop moving and drop down without any control over the movement. All right, Mara. Well played. Q.
Okay. So there are multiple orderlies. And now there's fucking chaos. So what are the tables made out of again?
God, did I even ever like specify that? I described them certainly as being like industrial, since they are in this building and they also need to be strong enough to withstand a fair amount of powers, though Mara did crack one of them with
It's true.
gravity powers.
True.
So I would say some form of metal.
Okay. So I think as Connor is seeing everything sort of like going off the rails so quickly, I think he touches one of the tables because he's trying to build more mass so that he could stand in between sort of everybody and tell everyone to calm down. It's just one of the like hands up and out, like standing between Bridget and the orderlies, like looking back at Mara, telling everyone that they need to calm down. Everyone is having a lot going on right now. I think we all need to take a second so that no one gets hurt. Bridget, I know you're angry. I'm still here. We're talking, we can talk. But you need to breathe and calm down. Is Ellie still like approaching? Okay. Mara, you need to let the orderly go, please.
I think in response to this, Mara is like very upset right now. So I think that Mara is going to let the orderly go, but not after just like a slam into the ground as gravity gets like way stronger for like a moment, and then keeps standing there. Actually, she keeps standing there, but lets the orderly go in response to Connor.
I'll give that to you, Mara. And Q, I think I would like you to roll to provoke someone.
Okay.
So please roll with superior.
Okay. Eek. Okay. Hey, gang. Wish me luck. Damn it. That's super upsetting. Okay, so that was a 10, but I have a -1. So it's a 9.
Shame that you're not all a team and therefore could use team from the pool.
Yeah, that'd be super nice right now.
It sure would be. I remember those days on Academy H.
Yeah. What?
All right.
Hold on. Let's see. Provoke someone.
So on a 7 to 9, there are a couple of options for what might happen.
Okay. Oh, they could instead choose one. Oh no.
I think in this instance,
Mm-hmm.
Bridget is going to overreact.
That was what I was gonna suggest. Yeah.
And so you have been trying to calm them down, and they go from just having their palms ignited to having their entire arms ignited. And you see, you're not sure if it's the reflection of fire in her eyes or if that is just what her eyes look like right now, burning
Mhm.
flames.
Mhm.
And she points at you and says, Connor, you should not be a part of this at all. This has nothing to do with you.
It
And then
does.
she lets a fireball
Yeah.
go right at your feet.
Sure. I'm metal right now, so I'm just going to step into it.
It starts to get very hot very quickly.
Understood?
And she says, this is between Lucian and me. Get out of the way.
I'm gonna step forward again. I'm going to keep approaching.
I'm going to say you get 2 steps forward
Mhm.
before we move to whoever wants the spotlight next, since we do have one of you who had been approaching, one of you who is at the table with the sketchbook, and one of you who is preparing to defend another if needed.
I can jump in. Valen is itching for a fight, but for once in their goddamn life is going to stay still. And I want that on record. Valen's an idiot, but for once they're going to use a brain. I would like to use my move straight up creeping, if I may. Oh, hell yeah. That's a 10. Fuck yes. Okay. One of the questions is what here is worth grabbing. I'm specifically looking, Elsie, leave my sheet alone. I am specifically looking to see if there is part of the table that has cracked away that I can take to use as a weapon.
Oh, I will absolutely give that to you.
Yes. Whenever I pick up a new piece of gear, I can write it in as a new ability. So I technically have whatever this is as a new ability. Other question I would like to ask is what is my best way out? And not physically out, but how to like what is the general best way out? Like Valen doesn't want to diffuse the tension, but based on my next move, it's going to make sense why Valen is worried about the tension that's happening right now. So what is the best way to like that of what I can do that can bring this down a level? If anything, my powerless ass.
I think a couple of options cross your mind, Valen. One thing that you immediately note that seems strange because you're running through the options. You're like, okay, I could try to get attention on me. That probably wouldn't do much. I could try to talk Mara down, but like that conversation wasn't going great. I see what's happening with Bridget and Connor over there. That is not helpful at all. Like, I'm not going to be able, if Connor's not making this work, I'm not going to be able to make this work. So you start to think about what would be a good distraction. And it stands out to you. Something is on fire, but there's no alarms going off. And so looking around to see if there might be something to pull could be a way of diffusing the situation by getting the attention on something else.
Okay. Can I ask, do I see anything?
I'm going to say that with a 10, you're looking around and you're like, okay, there's nothing that looks like, a fire alarm I could just pull. That is a little weird. But you've been messing around with the table. You realize there's a button underneath it. You don't know what it does. But it could be a panic button.
Do I still have... Can I push the button and run? Am I allowed to do that? Or is that too much for my turn?
You can push the button. You can take about 2 steps.
Okay. Instead of those 2 steps, I'm going to push the button and I'm going to stow this weapon that I have so that they don't see it on me. And I'll stay where I am.
And the lights start flashing blue in response to this. The orderlies look up, the ones that can at least, probably not the one that Mara took down. Ellie and Scylla, what would you like to do with your one action? And you do not have to do anything.
I'm going to give this one to Steph because I got nothing except for, I think once that like feeling of hunger and crackling power set in for Ellie, I think that was game over. Like she's like, I'm done. I'm not going to test this anymore and like back down. So that would be her move.
So, question, JD. Vitality absorption, does that apply to like energy? Right? Would you consider
propose what you're gonna ask?
In this instance, would you consider fire a source of energy?
I would.
Okay.
What would you like to do with this fire?
Well, it's burning Connor, and that's upsetting. So I'm trying to figure out what this looks like. Scylla doesn't know she can do this. But I would say there's some sort of gut instinct trying to kick in to pull the fire away from Connor. I don't know if that means she has to touch the fire or if she can do it from a distance. I can roll first and we can decide what it looks like.
I think that makes sense. Roll to unleash your powers.
Okay.
Roll with freak.
With freak. Sure. Okay, it's fine. It's a 6. I was just one away. That's a 6. So I guess it looks like nothing good.
So, mark potential.
Yay, I'm one away from a level up. Ooh. Me.
And so, Scylla, you see that fire. Connor does not look like he is necessarily in pain, but then Connor also doesn't show a whole lot of pain. And you don't want him to feel pain, and you feel yourself reaching out, not physically, but something inside of you reaching towards those flames. And you have this image in your head of extending your hand and bringing that fire back and taking it inside of you. Swallowing it down like it was never there. And you've never done anything like that before, or have you? Well, that's interesting that you shake your head, because a voice in your head, one that you heard in that dream,
Right?
says, "Oh no, little moth. You're not ready for that yet. It would burn you up inside."
I didn't give you permission to get in my brain, you weirdo.
They do not respond, but you feel that thread that was starting to connect you to the flames snap.
Cool.
And with that, I have a question to ask each of you. In this split second before something happens, what is going through your head? Starting, I think, if Harp is ready, with Mara.
I think I would have had a very different answer to this, or she would have had a very different answer to this if Connor hadn't said some things to her, just kind of brought her back down. I think she is scared because she realizes that she just used her powers to get her way, which is something, or to try and get her way, which is something that she has not ever wanted to do before. And while she thinks it was for a good reason, she's frantic a little bit, I think.
Connor, what about you?
I think Connor is just focused on trying to be okay. Trying to have everyone be okay. Not like the orderlies as much. Sure, yes, them too. But it's us. It's the inmates. It's the patients. His friends. He's trying to make sure everyone's okay. And I think if you'll allow it, in the same moment, he is trying to connect with. Doesn't have to be an action yet, but I want you to know where his goal is. I think he is trying to connect to Bridget, sort of bridge the gap here. So I think he is also trying to connect with the fire that he is currently in, because he has transmuting flesh. So maybe we'll see.
I love that. Ellie, what is going through your head in this moment?
It is a mix of trying to get whatever is about to happen with herself under control before she has a repeat of everything, every other circumstance and instance where she's tried to use her power so far in Hemlock, and it's just like not again, not again, not again, not again. Like, why is everything that I do in here so difficult, and outside it was so easy for me? And she is, I think, it's a volatile mix of many emotions, actually. Just very confused, very angry, very upset. Frustrated is actually the perfect term for it. She's frustrated because everything used to come so easy with situations like this, and now it's like one fuck up after another. Like, what else could go wrong, really? But also focusing on not letting herself get out of control again.
How about Valen?
Everybody is doing their own thing. Valen has spent the last however long with Caleb, who was stuck in isolation on their own in the only situation Valen has seen that is worse than what everybody else is stuck in. And Valen is just desperately thinking to Caleb, please do not get involved. Because he does not want Caleb to have to go back to ISO.
And last but certainly not least, Scylla.
Scylla is feeling kind of stuck because she's still protecting Caleb, like Valen had said, and she's still not moving closer because Connor said he'd handle this, but he's in the fire and he doesn't show pain if he's hurting, so she's not sure if he's hurting or not. And she tried to help, and the really rude guy who was in her dream wearing her dad like a suit is talking to her now, and that's new, and this is not the time, and she doesn't like that. So she is just kind of like feeling very much, I don't know how to help. It's worse. It's bad. And just kind of like trying to like find something to focus on and just can't stop watching Connor in the fire. Like even the moths in her hair just crawling around aren't distracting her from that, because she needs to make sure he's okay. And if she can't do it with her powers, then she'll need to do something.
And for all of you in this room, every single one of you, the other patients, the orderlies, the staff, time stops.
What?
You all freeze. And you don't see this, but we see two figures walk in from the hallway. One of them, the familiar figure, in fact, of Dr. Foxglove, who is looking at his watch as he enters. The other Rose, if you would be so kind.
Theodora Lomax stands not overwhelmingly tall, just maybe a little shorter than average. She has um, bright white hair that's tucked tightly, aggressively in a bun sitting atop her head. She wears a very sharp blazer and a professional dress. Uh, and she just has an air of judgment about her. She walks into Hemlock for this time. Thank
And
you,
that-
Dr. Foxglove.
That air of judgment extends to Dr. Foxglove, who says, "My apologies, Theodora. They are usually not quite this rowdy."
Is that so? I have heard and seen many things over the past few days. You're telling me this isn't standard procedure?
I am telling you that recent events are not reflective of the Hemlock experience and the treatment that your son has been getting.
Of course not. I would only expect the finest of care for my boy. His playthings. That one. She begins to walk around and inspect the scene with everything frozen. She walks and looks at the fire, frozen almost in time, and turns to Scylla and squints her eyes, tucks something into the back of her mind, looks at Connor, just kind of up and down, looks to Bridget, cocks her head, and smiles a little bit before turning to Valen, says, "That one has a weapon. I believe that if I am going to be assisting with matters at this treatment center, that security will be the top priority. I will not be having any weapons in the hands of hooligans and the various ilk that seem to be inhabiting this facility, along with my precious one."
Understood, of course, Theodora. Thank you for catching that.
Of course. I'm sure there will be many things that I catch, Dr. Foxglove. First, I want to see that one. She points to Bridget. Privately. Then the group that you've heard so much about from my son. And then I suppose it's time for my little reunion.
Of course, Theodora. Perhaps we should give them some time to calm down for today.
Yes, I suppose that's for the best. And she looks up, and before she pulls out the thing she's going to pull out of her pocket, she takes a glance first to Ellie and then to Mara, and then just rolls her eyes a little bit. And then you'd all hear ringing, like almost like a fire alarm going off, but she pulls out a delicate little bell and she starts ringing it. And it sounds and rings and is cacophonous. And then I'll hand it off.
And before we get to where you all find yourselves and everything that goes along with that, we first see Dr. Oleander's office, but sitting in Dr. Oleander's chair is not Dr. Oleander. Sitting in that chair is Theodora Lomax, and sitting across from her is Bridget, who is seated on the couch, head kind of hanging forward, hair in her face as it usually is, but they jerk almost with a start and sit up and scramble as far back as they can get on the couch when they see where they are and who is sitting in front of her.
Bridget, please have a seat.
I'm sitting.
Good. Well, I was looking over your patient records here at Hemlock, and I must say, I don't say this often, but I am impressed. You've had an exemplary record, and the psych notes have all been more than passable. Frankly, I think that one minor incident shouldn't get in the way between you and the outside. Right?
Who are you? Are you a new doctor?
Oh, I see Hemlock's messaging system is still as fabulous as ever. You can call me Theodora Lomax. I am a visiting consultant. I run a group of concerned, non-powered people, parents mostly, who want to be proactive about the dangers of people like you, people with powers. I believe in a program where if you really believe in yourself hard enough, just truly deep down, say to yourself, no, I don't have powers, that you can move beyond your current failing constitution. And I believe that you've already shown great success, and I think that reentry outside is more than reasonable. And my word goes a long way, Bridget. I am at the ear of Dr. Foxglove and the staff, important people. My word goes a long way. So if I said to stay, you would stay, of course. But if I said you were free to go, they would certainly let you go. So I am, of course, tempted to let you be on the outside. Is that what you would like, Bridget?
I I don't think I'm safe to be on the outside. I mean, I know you said it was a minor incident, but that's the problem. It's always a minor incident. I get angry, I lose my temper, and because I have powers, it's not just losing my temper, it's my hands igniting in flames and people get hurt.
Do you know what the root of all anger is, Bridget? It's fear. Fear that we are more powerful than we actually are. And these lead to delusions of grandeur and importance when really all we have to do is submit and say no. Come. Try and say it with me. Close your eyes and feel the fire go out, Bridget. Take a deep breath. And she has one of those singing bowls that like you hit and it kind of has an eerie shrill sound the more that you just gently glide your fingers over the bowl. And she does that. And as the reverberation set, she says, no, no, no. It's going to be better.
And I think that is all we see of these moments between Bridget and Theo. Before the rest of you, almost like you blinked, find yourselves not in that cafeteria, but seated around the group therapy room. And I imagine that you hear the echo of that bell that Theo rang earlier. As you see on the whiteboard on the wall, not only are you no longer in the cafeteria, but it is the next day. And I think that is where we are going to take our break.
We missed another day? Underfed, no fire protection, no seasoning.
One day we'll make it past breakfast. Maybe if they gave us better food, we would not be so irate all the time and volatile. I'm just saying. All of this could be solved if we removed certain factors.
Or you could just believe in yourself.
This isn't
Which-
Disney.
Which I think is exactly what you all are going to learn to do in 10 minutes. And this always throws me off because I'm so used to LFTA where there's like the slower transition, but here we are just out and then we are in.
No, we're just straight up, back in it.
That's what's up.
So I have two questions for Theo because I think this will yield an interesting answer. You know, of course, that Casey and Gray are not supposed to be near each other. And so my questions are they sitting next to each other? And if not, who is seated between the two of them?
They're not sitting next to each other because, of course, when Casey and Gray are next to each other, things get a little unpredictable. So I think it's important that a beacon of stability is sitting in between them and making sure that there's at least just a buffer. So I think I would have had Ellie in the middle, in between them. But I'm not cruel. So I'd make sure that it was still just Casey, Ellie, Gray. Everyone else can be however they want to be.
Incredible. I can't lie, my own stomach dropped because I thought you were going to say beacon of stability. I am sitting between them.
No, that's too Freudian. That's
Truly.
It's too on the nose. I have to make it worse.
And so, Ellie, you are seated between Casey and Gray. The rest of you are organized around the circle as you would see fit. The circle that continues to have more chairs than there are. Actually, I do not think there are more chairs than there are patients. I think there is an exact perfect number of chairs to match the number of patients.
Nothing out of place. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Okay. So then the question is, are we missing anyone?
No, everyone is there. Rigid, Lucian,
Okay.
Caleb, obviously Casey and Gray, Onyx, all of them are here.
Okay. Was I sat next to Lucian?
Yes.
Okay.
And so you all hear that ringing of the bell. And as noted, it's strange because one moment you were in the cafeteria, now you are here. And according to the whiteboard, a day has passed. Dr. Foxglove is nowhere in sight. Instead, someone who most of you have not seen before is there.
JD, I'd like to ask a question. What is Casey and Gray's reaction when they see Theo at the top of the classroom?
I'm really glad you asked that, Rose. You all would see. Well, it might take a few of you a moment because I imagine you are all looking at this person who you have not seen before, who is apparently running question mark group therapy also question mark. But if you were Ellie, you would notice Casey's reaction because he reaches over and grabs your hand and squeezes tightly. And you don't think he realizes he's doing it because he is staring straight at Theo.
There's like, I think for a second, she literally pales because she's not wearing gloves. So that's great. Fun time for her. And then there's a moment of just like, ignore it, ignore it, ignore it, ignore it. And then it's like painful. She looks to him and looks to Theo, then the date, and it's just like a whole bunch of confusion all at once. But she's like, Casey, my hand. And then kind of like leans forward and looks at Gray. Is like, what do I do?
I appreciate that you mentioned that you're not wearing gloves.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Because you, of course, feel the sensation of taking in Casey's power and drawing that strength from him. But you're also highly attuned to empathy. And I think along with that sensation of his power, you feel his fear. And you did not realize that Casey was capable of feeling this afraid.
As the power is absorbing and she's now able to use that super strength, I think his grip is a little less painful, and she thought that the drop in her stomach and that like fear was her own, but now realizing it's his, she kind of leans back away from Gray and gives him a squeeze back, but her eyes are like glued, I think, to him for at least another moment, trying to figure out like to draw on that empathy and like figure out anything else, because clearly he's not answering her because he's so scared, which is weird. Like, once again, like you said, she had no idea that he had that kind of capability. And then once there's nothing to be drawn anymore from that observation, looking back at Theo, and then I think she asked if he's okay to start, like trying to rouse some kind of like grounding of like, hey, you gotta say something, you gotta tell me you're okay. You're literally touching my hand right now, and I don't know if you remember, but that's not great, Casey. But are you okay?
Ellie, Ray takes your other hand.
Oh, Ray. All right. Shit. Okay. Distraction made. Whips her head in the opposite direction and just like eyes wide, really pale now. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Is not good for multiple powers at one time, not good in the same day, not good within the same 5 minutes, much less like 30 seconds. And she's like, what are you doing? Ray, let go. Ray, let go right now.
Now, you all may be wondering why we're here today. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Theodora Lomax. I am a consultant here at Hemlock, and I am a concerned parent and member of the community, the People Without Powers, and I'm just here to help. I am intimately involved with the powered community. I myself have a child here. And she looks at Casey and nods.
He nods back. He hasn't let go of Ellie's hand quite yet, but that is the first response you've seen from him.
And fully like turns her head as soon as she registers that the nod has happened. Real maternal affection type. And completely just brushes past Ellie and looks towards the room. I am here because I believe that there is not just treatment but a cure for what is going on inside you and the ways that you affect your world. And you can channel the feelings that you feel inside into something more productive and safer for society and for the rest of us without powers. And I understand, I can hear you saying in your head, not again, not again, not again. And you're just so frustrated, or you're just trying and focusing on being okay, just trying to have everyone be okay. Not maybe not the orderlies, but mostly everyone else, yourselves, your inmates, patients, friends. Maybe you feel stuck. Maybe you feel like you're trying to protect somebody, but you're not sure how to move. And, everyone's got their own thing that they're doing. But what's important is to not get involved. What's important is that you understand that you're scared and frightened, and that's okay. But what you do is you look towards that fear and say no. And this is where she's going to turn to Ellie and say, you're feeling powerful right now, but we're going to practice right here. Are you ready to believe?
What?
Are you ready to say no?
I don't think that's an option. There's no.
There simply is no. You have to let go of everything that you're thinking and just release yourself to nothing.
I'm sorry, I don't really know who you are, and I don't think you understand what happens if I do that. I don't think that's a good idea.
What happened
I
last
can't.
time, Ellie?
There's like a very, very scattered look across the room, and like a look of regret and guilt, especially towards Connor. And it's just like people got hurt. People here got hurt, and I don't really feel good right now, and I don't think that it's not a good idea if I let go right now. Can we focus on someone else, please? Like, there's like visible like sweat like beading on her forehead now. And she's like, it's clear like she's like struggling, but she also hasn't let go of Casey or Gray's hand. And that's not because she can't, but because she doesn't want to at this point.
Q.
Oh, this is Connor.
Connor is okay.
She looks, and the faintest smirk quirks, and she looks at Casey doesn't register at Gray, but turns to Connor. Yes.
So this is not a therapy session, right?
This is whatever you make it out to be. You put in what you put out. And whether that's therapy or some people turn to religion, I turn to science. And the science says that if you release yourself, then you release your powers. You were saying?
When you say release yourself, what exactly do you mean by that?
I mean that you close your eyes and you go inward. Some people think of it as a third eye, an astral space. Some people see it as deep meditation and breathing. Some people see it as connecting to one's ancestors and their beliefs. Me, personally, I go into a white room. Would you like to go there with me? And we can practice our powers. We can practice taking that away. Is that what you want?
No,
What is it you want, Connor?
I want to be able to be safe for
You
others.
think- And you think your powers make you safe, not a danger?
I think my powers are the only thing that keep me together.
I think that together we can build a stronger foundation than just your powers. And if we have to take those down layer by layer, brick by brick, experiment after experiment, we can build you back better, less capable of hurting others. It's about safety, and she turns. It's about making sure that you're able to control that which wants to be uncontrollable. And how you do that is by letting go. How you do that is releasing yourself from the powers and saying no. Just say no. It's as simple as that.
Mara.
Yeah, that is again not Harper. That is Mara. Just like
Yes.
you said that this was based in science.
Of
Can
course.
Can I ask the name of the person who led the relevant study?
Theodora Lomax. Me? Self-funded, self-made. I learned through rigorous study that sometimes the simplest solution is the correct one. Any other questions, Mara? We can
Okay.
certainly try and work on saying no. I understand that you're new here, and perhaps that freshness of mind can help motivate you to being normal, getting you out of here.
Well, Dr. Lomax, I think I'd like to talk to you later.
I'm sure that I can make myself available. She goes around, and I think she also turns and cocks her head towards Scylla. What do you dream about, Scylla?
Lots of things. Apples. I miss apples. Apples are tasty. The moon. The darkness. Stuff like that. Why?
Because these dreams, they can be reminders of the outside things that we want and crave, and I want you to hold on to those, especially as you work on your own personal journey of saying no.
Uh-huh.
Remember the taste of apples and the comfort of darkness. Just helps you release.
Sure.
Hey, Ellie, could you do me a favor and roll to unleash your powers?
I
What?
think what?
Sorry,
okay.
what?
But But JT, I'm hopeless right now. I'm just hopeless right now, and that's a little bit of a negative 2 to that one. So
Amazing.
okay. All right. Well,
What?
Oh
that
boy.
was a 6, but that's not -2, so maybe that's a little bit of a 4.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We're fucked, guys. We need to unionize.
I have
didn't ask
something
for
I'd
this.
like to do.
No.
I do want to see what happens. Cat's gonna be out of the bag. There's a move called Overcharge where you can channel the full capacity of your incredible powers to overcome an obstacle, reshape your
I
environment, or extend your
fucking knew it.
senses.
I knew it.
What?
So the power that Ellie is certainly going to unleash, I would just like to look and have that ringing kind of absorb that if I can do my burn, if you will allow me.
I will absolutely allow you to do that.
Amazing.
What happens when you fail a roll?
Oh, Nova ass
That-
bitch. How dare you?
No
Motherfucker.
powers?
No
Why?
powers. Oh,
No
that's
powers.
hysterical. That's really
Mhm.
funny.
Wait, what?
I rolled a 5.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Double fails.
Wait, hold on. What happens
On a
when you
miss,
fail on the-
on a miss, hold 2 burn, mark 3 conditions. So I still have enough for overcharge. But now you're going to see angry. Real quick, you're gonna see. I'm having to remember these off the top of my head. Angry.
Afraid, guilty, hopeless, and insecure are the options.
Angry, insecure, and hopeless.
So I think all of that makes a lot of sense because Ellie, you've been connected to Casey and Gray for a prolonged period of time. And yes, it's been like a minute or 2 or 3, however many minutes it's been, but they have not let go of you yet. And you are starting to realize that is because you are essentially acting as a conduit for them. You are linking them together even though they are supposed to be separate. And that is starting to calm them both down, though it is feeding their respective powers into you. And it is starting to become overwhelming in a way you haven't really experienced, because it's hard enough to come into contact with one person. It's even harder to come into contact with 2. But you're right at the intersection of this, and you're realizing what is there between the two of them, currently physically you, is something that you could not even imagine. It is power that you have never felt. And it is growing and building. And you are still feeling their emotions. You are feeling that fear. Turn to, dare we say, love? Dare we say that that might be a tinge of what you feel? And Theo goes to stop this, to contain this, to make sure that this power does not radiate outwards. You feel that connection between Casey and Gray. And I'll let you share only as much as you want to share, but I am curious. We know mechanically what conditions Theo has, but what comes up for her in that moment when she feels that?
I think the ringing that was present before and kind of hasn't left just gets more or less intense over the time that Theo has been around, starts to spike like we get closer to a radio frequency. We see that what was calm and judgmental is frayed. Hair start coming out of place. Sweat uh, gathers at her brow. Those quick enough to observe it might even see blood come out of her nose that she quickly grabs a handkerchief and in a way that would betray this is not the first time she's quickly dabbled up blood off of her nose before. Tries to reestablish order in this room and is, instead of moving in calm and assured movements, they're jagged, as if short-circuiting is the wrong word, but jumping from frequency to frequency. And I think especially seeing this connection between Casey and Gray, even though Ellie is there to witness it, there is a feeling it's not discussed because she does love Casey. There is shame. There is shame for her at something that she did, not at what Casey or Gray did. But she feels revolted by that feeling and turns away angrily. And she looks more cronish and more as if there's a wavelength about her as she just keeps repeating to herself a similar rephrase. Not again, not again, not again, not again. No, no, no. And you all see Theo essentially try to keep her cool as things start to calm down.
You lied.
What?
You said you don't have powers.
I don't. I don't have powers.
Yes, you
I
do.
have
You suppress them.
I release myself from the obligation of having powers.
So if none of us are currently using our powers, we don't have them?
It's about going beyond that level of understanding. And she starts fiddling with her glasses and says it's about control and a mindset. That's what you can't go into it thinking it's just a mindset. You have to fully believe that this is the reality that you're in. I mean, we can all understand that. I mean, Caleb understands that sometimes you just have to will yourself into what everything is.
Oh, sorry, I didn't look at it like that.
That's okay.
How did you meet Caleb? We only just met Caleb.
Yeah,
Well-
what did you mean by that?
Well, you are here, and you, of everyone, should know the importance of keeping your reality in check. And, well, when I entered for the safety of myself, it's imperative for me to know the group that I am working with. So I would almost say that I know some of you as well as you know yourselves.
Is it because you can hear inside our heads?
You could say that.
Yeah. Because you said out loud the thing I said in my head. So,
Clever. Clever, experiment one, clever. I know.
my name is Connor.
Connor. I know. I know that I am here to help. I am here to help all of you and to expedite reintroduction into society and normalcy. And now that I am here to implement this program, it's essential that we have group buy-in and that we believe in the power of no. She is desperately trying to keep some sort of like resemblance and like get back on track, but there is, and I think of everyone, Casey would have seen this side of Theo before. Rarely, but this is one of the ones where I think she turns and then goes to Valen. But some of us don't have to believe they don't have powers. And what is that like?
Some of us got sacked into prison for no reason, but since you know so much about us, care to tell me while I'm here, Doc?
I know as much as you do. So, if you don't know, I don't know.
I don't believe
But-
that.
Why are you here? Because you are a danger, or someone thinks you're a danger, or someone wants to think you're a danger. What do you think that is?
I think the set didn't know what to do with me, so they threw me in here with everyone else.
If the set brought you here, then they want you to get better. They are the heroes after all.
If they're the ones that think that I'm a danger, then we have shittier heroes than I realized.
She smiles.
If someone thinks we're a danger, wouldn't they just have to believe we're not a danger and then we're not a danger?
They would, but there are motivations other than the truth. Profit, security, sadism, if they're like that.
That means they're the problem.
Well, when they're the ones who are playing the game, they get to decide what the problem is.
Why do they get to pull people in the game who aren't playing the game?
That's the secret. Everyone is playing. That is something we don't get to decide. She kind of looks off a little bit, generally in the direction of Casey, and shakes her head. So if this is a game, what do you want to win? Do you want to leave? Do you want to stay? Do you want to burn this place to the ground?
Bridget does not look at anyone that is said. Bridget is very studiously looking at the ground.
Well, if the people in charge already knew it was a game before everyone else did, that means they have the ability to adjust it to how they see fit and get an advantage over people who are just minding their own business. So it kind of sounds like cheating.
I didn't say it was a fair game.
And
It's
Lucian
not really a
speaks
game.
up and says, seems like you're telling us that we should fight back, that we shouldn't play fair. Or am I not hearing you right?
I would always want to give out an air of fairness. We shouldn't be trying to cheat or be villains. That is why we are here, to grow beyond that natural tendency.
But if other people are cheating, then the game can't be fair. So playing fair wouldn't get you anywhere. Right?
I believe these are all important questions to reflect on. And the more that you see yourself wanting to go and lean into these natural urges of cheating and fairness and right and wrong, just remember that in order to truly rise beyond that is to just be and go where you have to, do what you're told, and things just get easier.
Oh no, that's not how it works. I was doing that before they put me here.
Mara,
Connor?
remember when I said earlier about not running away from your powers, not fighting it?
I recall you saying something like that, yeah?
Yeah, this is what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I am an excellent example and pillar of the community, and if you suggest
Yeah,
a minor infraction, a minor incident, and you were in shambles.
think what Connor means to say is that we might not all see eye to eye on all of your methods, but I think we would love some time to think about it and talk amongst ourselves.
Would we?
At this and at Mara's thing, she's going to flick her eyes to the cameras and then she says, I want everyone to take a deep breath with me. And she takes a deep inhale, holds it, and with the held breath, the party would receive a telepathic message from Theo saying, aren't you a little mad? Don't you want to go a little apeshit?
During this whole time, I think Mara is just trying to make eye contact with Connor.
He's like, there was a time where he was like staring daggers at Theo, but then when he was talking to you, his eye contact was still with you. I also think you see in this moment, he has reached a hand out. Hopefully, if, you know, Lucian's over here, Scylla's over here, he's putting arms around both of them. But yes, he is absolutely looking at you.
As she, sorry.
Can we respond?
Actually, before we go there, Ellie, you still have your hands being held.
Yeah. I
Them go.
let them go.
No. don't.
In fact, all of that feeling and all of that power, the reaction from Theo, which actually, as a conduit and feeling both of their emotions, upset her even more. Also combating feeling incredibly ill and also trying to pay attention. There's a lot going on in her mind right now, but the overwhelming feeling of what was described as love is what actually keeps her holding their hands together to keep that energy flowing, not only because I think she is understanding exactly why they are the way they are this entire time she's known them, but also because she's I wouldn't say jealous. I would say that this is a feeling that she desperately misses, and it is a way that she can experience it through someone else, and separating that, she knows exactly how that feels. So she doesn't let go because something feels wrong about why Theo would look at someone who she called her son and the person that he loves that way. And then also her words continuing like a long string of confusion and like, yeah, that sounds right, but also not right. Like, I do want to get control of my powers, but also like, I feel like I need a medical doctor at this point. But like if it's an infection, what am I gonna do? Like control it? No. But she has been trying to like switch like focuses, like a pivoting wheel very, very frequently, and it's like it's clearly starting to take its toll, but she's not let go. And I have marked the condition afraid from the initial conversation with Theo that sparked this of, hey, why don't you just let go of your powers? And she's like, I don't think that's a great idea. So yeah, that's what's going on
Ellie,
here.
I just have a casual question.
Oh, a casual one? Okay.
How does the feeling of love between these two boys compare to the feeling that you have for Rook?
Oh, damn.
I think like pretty well matched, honestly. Like that's why she held on to it so like tightly, is because like this is so familiar to her and she hasn't been able to experience this in months, and she like desperately misses it. And it's both familiar and, like I mentioned, like this isn't something that she wants to let go of or separate. But I like there are probably like some tears welling in her eyes from like the multitude of things going on, but primarily because she's like, I understand now, I get it. It's like not only tears of frustration and like fear, but also like tears of like happiness. Like love is a really happy feeling. And I think she like has made eye contact with both of them through this entire conversation and is just like wordlessly saying, I get it and I'm sorry.
I think those emotions are also being reflected in them. That you're not only feeling their emotions, they're feeling your emotions. And you would all see something you haven't seen before, well, except for the time that Lucian made you all cry. I guess that was just a few days ago. But Casey and Gray both have tears welling up in their eyes as well. And it's not from their emotions, it's from yours.
Not bad.
Now, Q, as for that question, whether
Yeah.
you all can respond to that telepathic communication, I am going to give that question to Rose.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
I'm always ready to go a little apeshit. That's how my brain is wired now. And I think just turning very quickly, and he's going to come back to you mentally. Ellie, you let go.
Casey, come here.
Casey, let's go of your hand.
Can I? Is there a role to contest that?
Oh boy.
Because I have super strength now and
Oh,
super
no.
speed.
Oh no.
I'm not letting this feeling go. I'm gonna be selfish about this.
I love it.
You know, I think I'm gonna call this a defend roll.
That's
Okay.
fair. That's fair.
So roll with Savior.
Okay. This isn't affected by anger, right? Gauge something. I guess not. Wait, I'm not angry. I'm afraid. Just kidding. Wait, I don't like these dice. No. This is why we have multiple dice.
Makes sense.
Oh,
Oh.
I'm just like,
I'm impressed that you keep rolling and don't just assume a loss.
You could have just.
but it's another full
Jesus.
well, this is a
You
5.
guys are so mean tonight.
You could have
There's
just
So,
been
so
like,
here's the.
it's fine, I
halfway-
failed.
Wait, who
Also-
failed? Me? Oh yeah. No.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm just like I'm halfway almost to another advancement. I just took one. I literally just took
You
one.
did, like last
You
episode.
did.
Yeah. Also, like you brought this role upon yourself. So like, why? Why are we here though? Is the thing.
Acting selfishly.
Sure,
And
absolutely. I love that. I love
We'll
that.
own it. I own it.
Okay.
And just like the dice are telling a story, and this is why I have like 15 dice. Q is because I have to remove 4 from 2 rolls.
So
Have
just
4
you know,
dice left. Okay.
what
um,
was that?
It's a 5.
Cool. So I think what happens is you go to reach out to Casey to stop him, and your hand freezes. Not for long, for like maybe 5 seconds. Just enough for Casey to get clear and be stepping towards Theodora.
Cool.
I am no, yeah, fuck it. She'll send a telepathic message just to Ellie saying, "We'll have none of that." And as Casey comes to, let's say, her right hand side, um, yeah, fuck it. I want you all to know that I know the slogans are silly and the results might vary, but I know that you are able to control your powers in such a way that it's like they're not even there. It's something that I have been able to do for a long time now, and I will work endlessly to correct my mistake because I know that powers can be manipulated and changed, whether through other people's powers, through science, through ways we haven't even discovered yet. She looks at Casey and uh, she looks older standing next to her son as she takes his hand and very much like starts to look her age, especially next to him. You can see the features that they share. She goes, powers can make you volatile, and we are working on finding ways of managing, controlling, and mitigating those. Those of you with powers understand the consequences that they have. Those of you with unfortunate circumstances, well, you're here for a reason. Valen.
Can this is Kian. Um, can I try something, JD?
Always.
Did you say, Rose, that Theo took Casey's hand?
Yes.
I want to try and put a barrier between their hands and separate it. And I'm thinking of the barrier that I'm able to break through in Hemlock. And I just want to wedge that between and just push their hands apart. I don't know if that's going to work.
Oh no.
I would like you to roll to unleash your powers.
Okay.
JD, there's also something I want to do separate from this, but I'll wait till after Valen does whatever this is.
That's a 7.
All right.
I don't know what that means. I've forgotten.
It's not a
how
fail.
Yeah, no.
That means
worries.
baby's first powers.
That
Hey!
does mean that.
That
That
does
means
mean-
one of two things. You can either mark a condition, or I will tell you how the effect is unstable or temporary.
You can tell me how it's unstable or temporary. I feel like that. Well, shit. I don't know. If I mark a condition, does it work?
It'll work either way. It's basically about the longevity of it.
Okay.
So if you
Um,
just want to do this for a moment, and it would be temporary, that can happen. If you want this to be sustained and or something like Theo would have to break through, you could mark a condition.
I think that Balin's objective with this is there is this person who is exhibiting some sort of terrifying power over everybody. And specifically, this asshole who has knocked me unconscious and thrown me across the room is all of a sudden subdued and not going to put up a fucking fight. And I think that infuriates Valen more than anything. So I don't think I think it is that you tell me how unstable it is, because I don't think Valen's intentionally trying to do this. It's just this like get away from him, like, and also to Casey, like, what the fuck are you doing, you fucking idiot? Like, furious about it.
Okay. I love this. And this is a great visual. You have missed a terrible, you missed an opportunity for a good boy. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there.
You don't have to disrespect me, Q. You could have chosen to not.
I think it's a little silly.
If we're just saying, I'm just saying you could have not disrespected me.
Listen, then it had to be said, and I'm sorry that it had to be me, but here we are.
Rude as hell.
And so, Valen, you are thinking about that barrier that you've seen. You're thinking about the way your powers, have responded around those barriers in Hemlock. And I think one thing that happens here is because you don't intend to do it, it is very visible. And so there is suddenly what looks like almost electricity coming from Valen's, it looks like pumps, and moving across the floor in rapid pace, coming up to sever that connection between Casey and Theo. And it does. It immediately negates all of your powers, Theo, the moment it touches you. And you feel that sudden loss. And that, maybe as much as the barrier itself, allows Casey to take a step back.
With permission, or I see hands going up.
Were we able to see that? Or,
you
okay,
all saw that happen.
Okay, but did we see where it come from is the question.
You did.
Just so it's on the table, I grabbed Caleb's hand.
Okay. You have Caleb's hand.
Don't worry about it, Q.
I'm gonna bounce to Scylla first. Then we're gonna bounce up to Theo. Then we're gonna bounce down to everyone else.
Well, yeah. So when Scylla heard that in her head, she didn't like that because that's the second time, well, I guess in 24 hours, because it's not the same day anymore, that someone has jumped in her head without her permission. And boundaries are important, and she doesn't like that. And it's irritating, especially from this new person who acts like she knows everything and she clearly doesn't. So Scylla would like to pierce the mask on Theo.
Finally.
I've just been sitting here like, it's my turn. I know what I'm going to do. And we'll see if the dice let me. What am I rolling with that? It's mundane.
That is with mundane.
Theo have secrets? Crazy. No.
That's wild.
That's wild.
It's a 9, so I can ask 1. So, I'd like to know, what are you really planning?
Yeah, this is a good one to drop now. Theo has a single goal. It is the reason why she is at Hemlock. And that is to keep and to sever the connection between Casey and Gray. And she will do anything, use anyone, to siphon that off, to weaken it, to siphon those powers. That is why she's here.
And I think the way you glean those pieces, Scylla, is because of what you just saw when that barrier came up. And I will let Rose correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there may have been some hunger in Theo's eyes at seeing what Phelan's powers could do.
It's truly to have been caught out by these fucking teenagers on the first day, and then to have the powerless teenager have the power of doing the thing that she wants. This is why I want to ask. Theo goes ape shit. Uh, I think that she just fully becomes unhinged. Are we cool for me to play that out, or would you like me to narrate what happens? Thumbs up across the board? Okay. Cool. So, Valen, you hit her with the barrier, and she just looks. There were no powers, and here you are, full of surprises. Oh, that is just fucking grand. Okay. You see, this is why the patented no technique works, because if you believe something is going to happen, then it will. And and this is why they call you villains. And this is orderlies, get me out of here. And she fully loses control and looks like she wants to say and scream more at Casey, but calling the orderlies is her one card of that's the wrap up, especially after the events of yesterday. And she just starts smoothing out her hair and like looking to try and like activate her powers again. And she just looks at everyone and goes, this won't be, we're not done. Not finished here.
Ms. Lomax?
What?
I don't know if Dr. Oleander is still here, but she does fairly good therapy. She's taught me how to help control my anger. Perhaps you should speak to her.
Get out! And she like and like she does it twice because she expects something to be thrown. And when it doesn't, she just screeches a little bit in rage and slams her fist onto the desk.
So are we leaving or are you leaving?
I was confused too. We're leaving.
Really?
Yeah, that's fine. I think we'll go.
Let's just go.
Yeah, we
She
can
needs
go.
to just say
Yeah.
no to her anger.
Out. Now.
Yes, we're leaving.
Mhm.
Orderlies, this woman is uncontrollable.
I think there's just so much shaking rage that she doesn't even have time to respond. In the hustle as people exit, I do think that there is a soft, I'm sorry you had to see that, Pookie, to Casey.
Not Pookie.
Oh no,
someone's
someone's
gonna
gonna
remember
remember this shit.
Not.
And Casey
Pookie.
just says, it's fine, Mom. It's not like I haven't seen it before.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
never get tired of your mom. A tantrum. fine. It was more controlled than usual.
In a crazy turn of events for LC, in my thought process, of how things were in Ellie's mind. The second that we are all leaving and Theo tries to speak to Casey again and does, there is a very defensive movement towards him and takes his hand and tugs him towards the door, away from her.
Oh, seeing that, especially as once their back is turned, a camera capturing that would be able to see Theodora smile.
Oh, I don't like that. Wait, what? Hey.
She wants them apart.
No,
So
I'm not leaving him away from Gray.
But you're getting
Oh.
in the middle.
you're getting
Yeah,
in the middle.
I'm really good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
It's my favorite activity.
I love how you were
Drama.
like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to kill him," and then you thought you ate.
Look,
Starving. It's okay. It's all right.
I'm really, truly starving. Like, it's
Well,
rough. It's hard.
Hey, well, we love those advancements, don't we?
Hey, now I'm only got 2. Actually, I probably need to go like lay down or like throw up or something.
Valen was not quick to leave and is still standing and looking at Theodora, and then like looks down at his hand, and looking back at her just says, "What did I do to you?"
You did what 35 long years couldn't. She just waves her hand and nothing happens. And she looks, and it's as if she's trying to have a conversation, but then remembers and goes, "You have no idea? I don't know how." And she just takes a second and goes, "Valen, for 35 years, I have been holding a like a soda bottle that's all shaken up, and you just hold it tight and eventually it explodes. And I've been holding that in and repeating this cycle over and over and over again for my entire life. And you cured me without even trying. I don't know if I should thank you, if I should be scared of you.
Theo, that is the moment you start to feel your powers coming back.
Oh no. Not again. Not again. Not again. Not again. Not again. And you hear the ringing returning as she straightens herself up and goes, "Can you do it again?
Oh no.
Please."
And I think that is where we're going to end the session.
Oh
I think
god.
that is a beautiful moment.
Breathe.
Consider 10 more
leave us
minutes
on.
again. Consider.
10 more minutes. Because hear me out. Hear me out. I have a thing. 10 more minutes. I'll make it quick. I'll make it short and sweet. 10 more minutes. Por favor. Por favor, mi amor. Por favor.
We were right at 11. We like nailed it.
Yeah,
Wow.
but consider.
Please.
I'll give you 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
10 more minutes on the Xbox. Let's go.
Okay.
To take
Please.
some
Please.
I don't know what's going on, but the last thing I want to do is help you. And I start backing out of the room.
You hear as the door closes another shout, and this time it sounds as if all of the chairs have gone slammed into the walls of the room.
Those were bolted down.
As
Guess not enough.
I'm
Not
not gonna
enough.
do anything with this for now, but just setting it up for next session, I think. As Valen exits the room, Mara is just back against the wall next to the door, and just motions for him to talk.
And
I gotta
so
make a
we
phone
will-
call before that happens.
And so perhaps we see a brief moment of that happening and Valen just kind of nodding and then heading towards the phones. Connor.
Well, I was trying to gather everyone. But
I mean, you can intercept them on the way to the phone.
Yeah, Balin's
Yeah.
fragile as fuck. You can absolutely intercept.
I think Connor is going to try and scoop everyone up. Like, he's probably got Lucian with him. Scylla will stop, Ellie and Casey. Hey, I don't know what it is that they want with us, but it's clearly not well-intentioned.
No.
They want to keep us here for their own trials and tests, and I'm not going to be another test subject. So they're not going to teach us to use our gifts, our curses, whatever you want to call them. They're not going to let us grow, to let us learn. They're going to keep us afraid. So I think we should start learning it ourselves. If they call us villains, then let's prove them wrong. I'm just going to look at each of you.
Hell yeah.
Connor, how am I supposed to learn something that I don't know anything about?
You learn.
That's how everyone learns.
I mean, I don't know what everything I can do is, and I just have moths appear.
I think I was born knowing astrophysics.
Okay,
If
shut the fuck up, Mara.
we figure it out. She's right. We have to learn. We have to figure out what it is, what we can do. Not even I know everything that I can do. When I was stepping towards Bridget, I felt the fire and I felt it.
Did it hurt?
A little. I'm okay. I promise.
Okay.
Ellie?
But yeah, sorry. Like literally, I think she's like slid down on the wall, like completely like zonked. Like she can't even stand up anymore. Very, very
holding
tired.
on to Casey.
No, I think she like
Gray.
Casey and Gray, both of them, and just like slunk down in the wall, very sweaty, very tired looking, and is just like nodding, like yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
Should get you some water.
think yeah, water or a trash can.
Uh-oh.
Is
Not
usually the way
trash
this
can.
goes. No,
No.
I might.
Oh, yeah.
Bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gonna get her a trash can. He's like, no, you don't want to eat a trash. Oh, this is not for eating.
What the? Why your first thought, Connor.
He's best friends with Scylla.
That's fair.
Yeah. Also, he thought you were just like replacing a word with another word.
Oh, she's like, no, Connor, I need to throw up.
Yeah. Sorry. Here you go.
Okay. Okay, I might not, but just in case, I think that's a great idea. And Valen, I am back to square one. And I will admit that now. I don't know what's going on, just as much as you don't know what's going on. This power is not my own, and I don't know what to do with it. So we learn.
We have to do this together.
Yeah. Like a team.
Oh,
I'll help. But if I see my out, I'm taking it.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
But I would like for you to like try.
It's a tool. Can be used to get things.
True. Also, thank you for listening earlier. Well, yesterday. I know it's not the same day. You know restraint. That's good.
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry if I give you the impression that I didn't.
No, it's just sometimes you're too afraid of your own power. I'm just trying to help you remember that you can pull back.
Okay, thanks. Is going to look at Valen in an attempt to deflect the conversation away from her.
And I
Okay.
think in that moment, Lucian speaks up and says, I mean, if you're going to be a team, shouldn't you choose a leader? And that is where we are going to end tonight's session.
yay! You did
Connor,
it!
Connor immediately got tense.
No.
He's like, oh no, oh no.
Nose goes on the leader.
Yeah, nose goes. Not
I
it.
mean, that was essentially Academy H. Like, Lyra is the leader because all of the rest of us were like,
We're like,
"Yeah,
no,
Absolutely
we're choosing
not.
Lyra. Sorry, you get no say.
I'm going to choose that exact opportune moment to like use the trash can, and then nobody can elect me as leader, and it's great. Only Connor left.
we had a time here together tonight, so I am going to have us move into our outros. So we also have a little bit of decompression time after we wrap up. So starting as always at the top with Harp, remind us of the other awesome things that you are doing and where we can find you.
Hi, I'm sorry, I'm Harper. I'm never prepared for this. You can find me tomorrow doing Beacon's Royal Flush on High Shelf Collective. You can also find me on youtube.com/harpingharp, where I make video essays. And now YouTube has deemed me advertiser friendly. So if you click on a video of mine, I will earn a fraction of a cent, which is cool. Thank you. That's all I do.
And Harp makes awesome music, some of which you can
Thank you.
hear in places like the They Call Us Villains trailer.
So good. It's so fucking good.
We're going to jump over Kian since they go last to do some of the outro stuff. So, Q, you are up next.
All right. It's me, Buckle up, everybody. Are you ready? Hi, I'm Q. I was playing Connor Creed today. Saddest, angiest boy. Not just test subject number one. When I'm not here, you can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet at Midnight Inc. That's Midnight_INQ. Q is my name. I'm sure you get it. Save a horse, ride a cowboy. I keep making cowboys. Anyway, so next up, we have class reunion this Saturday. I'm very excited about that. Get to play Kira, who is dressed up now. Is having fun. He's still sad/angry. So be watchful for that. And then on Sunday, I will be over at RPGs Uncovered for the continuation of the Starcrier conflict, which is a Lancer game. We just got our new mechs. I'm in a Stortebecker. I got so many arms and so many guns. And then, of course, alternating Tuesdays from this one, you can see me over at Live from the Apocalypse for Nephilim Tenebris, where where my character's just whole viewpoint on one of his heroes shattered so spectacularly. It was fantastic. That's it for me.
All right, Steph, you are up next.
I've been Scylla, still has done nothing wrong ever in her life. You can catch me over at Live from the Apocalypse at the end of August when we come back for Redacted. And my table of Seasons of Secrets and Shadows is over, but you can catch it on the finale, which was this Saturday, on YouTube now. And stay tuned for, I think, in September when the other table gets to finish up their game. It is going to be a time.
There were a lot of tears. There will be more, I promise.
Yes.
All right, Elsie, you are up next.
All right, here comes the hot mess. As I do always in every outro, it will be unhinged as fuck. I've been Elsie, or no, I've been Ellie. I am Elsie, but you know what? The two are interchangeable sometimes. I don't know, whatever. You can find me at Optimistics on all social media. I use she, they pronouns, as we have seen. I just want to start off by saying Stortebecker is fucking sick. As someone who played through the Dustgrave module or whatever where it came from, very, very good, very, very handy. You're gonna kick a lot of ass. Where can you find me? I am tomorrow playing Thirsty Sword Lesbians over on the Lost Caravan. It is our part 2 of part 1. I am group mom somehow. I don't know. Alice keeps sending me songs that are very, very concerning to me as an individual because I did not ask for a problematic ex in this world we have been into, and we haven't met them yet, but maybe we will, and I don't want to pay for the consequences of my actions. And then where I don't think I'm in anything again until The Walking Dead, again paying for the consequences of my actions. We did kill Hoop. We didn't kill Hoop, the zombie did, but you know what? I'm being a really bad medic. So if you want to see me still fail, I have a lot of stress, which means I fail every roll. I have not succeeded in a single roll in that game either. Thirsty Sword Lesbians is the only one I can get a good roll in. So you know what? Keeping up with the trend, right? And then after that, I think it's back here. Hell's Gate on Monday. Also paying for the just assume any game that I'm in that I'm listing here, I'm paying for the consequences of my own actions, and everybody is getting splash damage for it. And that's about it until the 8th. And then I get to play with Rose and Tomb Raider. And Tomb Raider is gonna be really fun, really feral. It's a bunch of thirsty bitches taking out a corporation. We're all really thirsty. There will be werewolves. It's gonna be really
thirsty.
fun. So it's really.
First question I ask: can I romance a werewolf? That is all you need to know.
That's honestly, if we all don't get our own werewolf, I'm gonna be really upset. Also, I got confused about a conversation about monster cans, but they were talking about Monster, the energy drink, and I thought we were talking about monster fucking. So I only read half the conversation. So that's it. Carry on. Whoever's next. Who's left?
Rose, you're up next.
Sup? Howdy, y'all. I'm Rose. I use they, she pronouns. I have been Theodora Lomax. No doctor. She's not a doctor. It was great. I did not correct you. Um, it was been wonderful guesting here on They Call Us Villains. You can also catch me online, Rose from the Grave. I am on alternating Tuesdays. I am with Q over on Live from the Apocalypse with LFTA's Tenebrous. And then I will also with LC be joining up on the Tomb Raiders on Thursdays in August. Um, that's it for me. Short, sweet. Thanks for having me, y'all.
You were a fantastic guest. I can't wait to see what happens next. I'm gonna try to go relatively quickly. We're gonna see how that goes because I, like Q, am in many things. For the rest of this week, actually, the next time you will see me is for Class Reunion, where I play Lindsay, formerly Ardane, who is a wizard who is just happy to be included and may have just been disowned from his family. It's fine. Don't worry about it. On Monday, the 29th, I will be with High Shelf Collective for Royal Blood. That will be a heist game, and we are probably all going to stab each other in the back, and I'm really looking forward to the chaos that is going to ensue because that table is stacked, and I am very excited. I'll be with Lost Caravan that following Wednesday for Nova, our Cypher System campaign, formerly our Nova campaign. And we'll see if we start crying again as we did this last time, because lots of heartbreaking things happened. I will be with Live from the Apocalypse, which is generally my home, that following Thursday for Never Ember's Enigma, our heist game, where I play a changeling rogue who has never done anything wrong ever in their life. Don't worry about the crimes that they've committed. And then I will be back here for Invisible Sun, Blooming in the Rot, where I play a little guy just filled with demons, and it's fine. And then finally, if you like masks, we record Academy H every other Sunday. We just did this past Sunday where I play Casimir Bright, who does bone magic and is heavily inspired by the Locked Tomb. And there are other things coming up, some things I'm not allowed to talk about yet. But those are most of the games that I'm a part of, or at least the ones I can see on my calendar. So I will finally turn the reins over to Kian to round us out.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kian. I have been Valen tonight, my little lad who apparently does have powers. Shock and awe to everybody. I'm going to go through my schedule first before I do the channel stuff. Tomorrow night, I'll be on High Shelf Collective for Beacon Bites with Harp. Oh my God, my calendar is tiny. Do I have anything else this week? I don't. Next Monday, I will be on High Shelf Collective for Royal Blood with JD. Can't talk about that yet. On the 31st, I will be over with JD on the Lost Caravan for our Nova campaign. On the 3rd, I will be running Blooming in the Rot here, our Invisible Sun actual play. I've got a couple other projects coming up that I can't yet talk about, so follow me on social media. That's where you'll hear about it first. As far as what's going on with the channel, Tuesdays, obviously every other Tuesday, we're here with They Call Us Villains. Every other Thursday, God Complex, our Evangelion-inspired Girl by Moonlight AP, which is a lot of fun. Every other Friday, Weird Wilds War, a 5e AP run by JT. I'm sorry, God Complex is run by Will. Weird Wilds War run by JT. Every other Saturday, Invisible Sun, my campaign, Blooming in the Rot. And then we do have a casting call open right now. It is for Alternating Anthology of Public Access in Brindlewood Bay. I will be GMing those games. Check it out. It's posted on social media. I forgot to pull the link for the chat, but it's posted on social media. And I'm going to send us over to raid High Shelf Collective, where they are playing Quintessential Werewolves, their werewolf game, which is very fun to watch. So go say hi, tell them who sent you, and we will be back in 2 weeks. Let me make sure that the raid is working. Yes, the raid is working. But yeah, JD, if you want to see us out, sorry.
Yeah, no, I will take us to the ending screen and we'll pop over for that raid. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.